Hello and welcome, Inspired Podcast community. This is your new episode. My name is Caroline, and my today's guest is Laura Watson, and I'm so happy that she said yes to our interview. How are you doing today?
I'm great, Caroline. It's a beautiful day here in Alberta, Canada.
Wow, you are in Canada. Yes,
Right.
I read about that, and I would love to introduce you to the audience, of course, first. You have spent over 30 years helping people become the best version of themselves. You are an award-winning coach, wife, mother, and world country dance champion. You specialize in turning complex business and leadership concepts into practical, actionable steps. As the whole person coach, you support both personal and professional challenges, addressing everything from business strategy to parenting and personal issues. Welcome to the Inspired Podcast, and you are so much more, Laura.
Well, thank you for having me. It's great to be here today.
Wow, thanks again. And my first question is, what's the most important factor in bridging theory to practice in leadership?
Oh, that's a great question. So, in order to bridge theory to practice, you have to have clarity. You have to have clarity about what you want, how you're going to accomplish it, like what are the action steps, and then when are you going to do it? That's really the secret sauce. I find with my clients, sometimes they have clarity about what they want to accomplish. They've got some goals and objectives, or they've got a business plan that maybe they wrote once upon a time, but then it got busy and it got shelved and started collecting dust. Um, so yeah, we have to have clarity first about what we want to accomplish. And then we have to break down what we want to accomplish into actionable steps. I find sometimes people have intentions, but not goals. So they have to have measurable, tangible goals, and then think through what can they do just in the coming week. It doesn't have to be a 12-week plan or an annual plan. Just what can they do this week? One or two little actions that they can take towards achieving that goal. And then when are they going to do it? They have to actually open up their calendar and book appointments with themselves and say, you know what? Monday morning at 9 a.m., I'm going to take this action. Because again, life shows up, the business shows up, and will take us off our game and distract us or take us off on tangents. So we really have to decide when we're going to accomplish things and then stick to it.
Wow. So I understood for the first time because I asked about the bridging part and you talked about clarity first. So you help your clients to cross the bridge from where they are today to where they want to go. And then you suggest or you work with them on actionable steps to reach the goal, or but one step at a time, weekly goal, daily goal. And then the best part is, what I love the most is set a time and date or a space in your calendar. Book an appointment with yourself to accomplish the task.
That's one of the things I do with my clients. I mean, that's often where we kind of get started, and then as work and life shows up and takes us off our game, and our mental roadblocks show up, then I do a lot of work around helping people clear those roadblocks. So that, and again, I use lots of tools and practical strategies. So I don't just talk conceptually with people about here's what you have to do. I really break things down into how to do it, even when it comes to shifting mindset, so that they can put those tools into practice.
Yeah, and I assume you hold them accountable. What about that? If they
Oh, yes. I have a whole coaching platform actually that I use with my clients. And so everything we talk about is documented, it's tracked. If my clients need reminders of their action steps, I actually send them emails and extra text messages to remind them to do what they're supposed to be doing. And then we track every week together. Did they get it done? If they did, great, we get to move forward. If they didn't, then we have to look at what stopped them so that we can clear that roadblock and get them moving forward again. So lots of accountability and a bit of kicking people in the butt sometimes.
Yes, and taking care of that the road is clean and clear, or yes, the path.
Absolutely. Yes,
Wow.
because sometimes it can be overwhelming as well, right? Like we have a big goal, we have big objectives, big things we want to achieve, but then it can become very overwhelming and people can get stuck in overwhelm as well. And when we're stuck in overwhelm, we can procrastinate or let other distractions show up. So yes, clear and focus and breaking things down into actionable pieces, and so that people can be consistent. Consistency really is key. Just like going to the gym, you got to build that muscle by being consistent. And that's how we build the business as well, is by being consistent.
Wow, thank you for implementing this word. So
Mm,
important, and we can look this up or observe at the gym, or what athletes do for to win this Olympic medal. So
exactly.
to yes, we can do this in our daily life. So I have a next question. Of course, it is, how do you approach helping leaders with both personal and business challenges?
Yeah, great. Also a great question. So first is we have to understand what the challenge is. And then over the 20 plus years that I've been working with business owners, I've learned a lot about the types of challenges that they deal with. And so I've built a toolkit for helping them address those challenges. So the toolkit really is a series of models and tools that now I didn't necessarily create myself, because I'm not into reinventing the wheel. I'm about going out and finding the best tools possible and then bringing those tools to my clients for them to use. I've also done a ton of personal and professional development over the years. And so things that I have learned from my own, workshops and retreats and programs that I've done, again, I bring those tools and insights to my coaching sessions. So whether someone has a personal challenge around clearing old limiting beliefs, I have tools to help them with that, to learning how to communicate more effectively, very specific models and tools so they can learn how to give feedback to team members more effectively. They can learn to delegate more effectively, because I have lots of owners who complain that they can't delegate to their team because they'll delegate something and then they don't get back what they wanted. And so, it's just too frustrating. It's faster to do it myself. But of course, if they just keep doing it themselves, they can't grow because there's only so many hours in a day. So I have very specific, tools and strategies that I coach people to implement so that they can put those tools into practice and get moving forward faster.
Wow, I love what you said about first of all, you talked about feedback, and you talked about helping people to give feedback. What about receiving feedback? Some people are not able to receive, or they don't want to hear it, or they don't want to implement it.
Absolutely. So if someone has a hard time hearing feedback, it's often because the feedback they're receiving is triggering them in some way. So something, they've got a story going on or a limiting belief from their past, and whatever feedback they're receiving, somehow in some way that feedback or that message is triggering that old story. And so people have to build awareness, some self-awareness around their triggers. Because it's very common to say, oh, well, they pissed me off, or they irritated me, or didn't, I felt attacked. And although the person delivering the feedback is rarely trying to attack them, they may not be delivering the feedback in the best way possible, but it's important that we keep an open mind and give people the benefit of the doubt and understand that people are rarely, if our boss is giving us feedback, for example, they're not trying to attack us. They're actually trying to be helpful, but they may have unknowingly triggered us in some way. So we have to develop some self-awareness of our triggers and take responsibility for our triggers. And because when we do that, then we can develop the mental and emotional mastery for keeping ourselves calm when we get triggered and keep ourselves open to the feedback that we're hearing. And sometimes feedback is going to land and seem like a fit and seem like, okay, maybe that's something I want to consider. And sometimes it's not. It doesn't mean that we have to take on the feedback and have to implement. It's really just feedback for our consideration. And then we get to decide, what to do with it. Hopefully that answers your question.
Wow, of course. Thank you so much. And I also love the delegating part. Of course, you mentioned then the people think, oh, I got it done quicker, or when I give instructions, then they are overheard, or people are doing the opposite. Sometimes I witnessed this when when I had my company. It was always the opposite. Yes, and then I heard the term recently, to delegate authority.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that?
Delegating authority is important because there's different levels of authority that you're delegating. Sometimes you're delegating just a task. I just want you to do this thing. And then sometimes we're delegating decision-making authority. So that's when we might be delegating a project. And so maybe the person's a team leader or a project leader. And therefore, we're delegating authority around some decision making, some budget setting, some setting parameters of the project. So yes, there's always going to be different levels of authority. And the leader needs to be clear about that first. And the other thing they need to be, and why delegation often breaks down is because the leader hasn't been clear in their communication. They're saying, do this. And then they ask the question, do you understand or do you get it? And the person, on the receiving end of the delegate, oh, yeah, I got it. Because they don't want to come across like they don't understand. They might be afraid of appearing like they don't know what they're doing. So they just nod and say, I got it, when they don't got it. So instead of a leader asking the question, do you get it? They need to ask the question, what do you get? Or what is your understanding of what I've explained? And give the person that they're delegating to an opportunity to paraphrase. This is what I'm hearing. This is what I'm understanding, which gives the leader an opportunity to know, yes, okay, they do understand how I want them to understand, or gives them an opportunity to realize, I missed something and I need to, add some additional information, or I need to re-clarify. So there's just simple shifts in the types of questions that we ask our listeners when we're delegating that allow a leader to confirm understanding. And once understanding is confirmed and we have absolute clarity of the task and of the authority, then I find delegation works much better. And all of these are tools actually that are talked about in a really quick read. It's a book called If You Want It Done Right, You Don't Have to Do It Yourself. And it's written by Donna Gennett. It's a 1-hour read. It's got pictures, it's got cheat sheets. And when I'm working with my leaders on delegation issues, it's a book I highly recommend to them.
Oh, thank you so much. I love exploring new books, of course. Thank you. I will take a look, of course, after listening. No, not after listening to this episode. After recording this episode, I'm so flashed by what you shared that I find myself listening.
Well, that's good. I hope I hope you and your listeners are getting some value from our conversation.
Yes, thank you so much. I have another question for you. It is, can you share how your experience as a world country dance champion influences your coaching style?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that was so exciting. And I'm still dancing and I'm still pursuing another world championship. I'll be competing again the end of December of 2024, going into 2025. I think where my dance impacts my business coaching is my clients are all about getting to the next level and stretching their comfort zone. And I believe that I have to walk my talk. I have to be doing that too. And none of the things I do in dance come naturally. It is all learned. It's all from my coaches pushing me, helping me stretch my comfort zone, and helping me stay real, helping me feel that discomfort and stepping into that discomfort. There's an expression that we have to get comfortable with discomfort. And that's what my dance does for me. And it keeps me pushing and moving forward. And so it keeps me real and keeps me walking my talk. And so by me being engaged in that process myself, I think it helps me be more relatable, understanding, and empathetic, with my clients when I'm coaching them to get to the next level in their lives.
Wow, I love that. So you are pursuing your goal, you are teaching your clients and helping them how to achieve their goals. This is so amazing. You told us about your next project, about the championship. And where can we find you when people want to reach out to you?
Yeah, well, the best place to find me, first of all, is on my website, which is venturecoaching.ca, because I'm in Canada. And then I'm on Facebook and LinkedIn under Laura Watson. And there's also a business page of Venture Coaching on LinkedIn, because I'm in the process of writing a book about leadership and getting to the next level. So if they want to be involved, connected to that conversation, they can look up Venture Coaching International on LinkedIn. And I've got a Venture Coaching International channel on YouTube. So there's lots of places to be able to find me.
Oh, yes, I will subscribe, of course, to your YouTube channel.
Please do.
I wanted to look up before, but I landed at your LinkedIn page first. And yeah, of course, I travel across the social media channels of my guest every time. Thank you so much for sharing. And now it's time for your final thoughts to the audience, please.
Oh, final thoughts. I invite people to step into their leadership and always be looking to level up. There are levels to leadership. We can be, it can be just personal leadership and being the best that we can be, and taking ourselves personally to the next level. And then if we get into business, running a business or being an executive, there are opportunities not only to be our best selves as an executive, but then to actually integrate coaching into your leadership style so you can actually groom the next generation of leaders. There's so much possibility and so much to learn. And so I really invite people to give themselves the opportunity to start where they're at, get some coaching support or support from mastermind groups or however they like to learn, and challenge themselves to always be taking themselves to the next level.
Wow, I love that. Level up to the next leadership level. This was our episode with Laura Watson. I'm forever impressed. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for having me today. And again, I hope that you and your listeners have gotten some value today.
So much value. Thank you so much. And see you in the next episode.